Have you ever thought about getting remarried but found yourself wondering if you're making the right decision? At this stage of life, marriage is no longer about youthful passion or starting fresh. It's about companionship, stability, and creating a future that aligns with your values and lifestyle. Yet, too many people overlook the challenges that come with remarrying later in life. They believe love is enough to make everything fall into place, only to find themselves facing unexpected complications that affect their finances, relationships, and overall happiness. Whether you have been single for a long time, recently divorced, or widowed, the decision to remarry is one that requires deep consideration. Because while love can be a beautiful thing, marriage, especially later in life, is about more than just emotions. It's about security, family dynamics, and ensuring that this next chapter of your life truly brings you peace rather than stress. Today, we're going to uncover 5 essential truths that everyone must understand before remarrying after 60. These insights could change the way you think about love, commitment, and long-term stability. Because too many people rush into remarriage without thinking about the consequences, and later, they find themselves dealing with complications they never saw coming. But when you take the time to educate yourself, to ask the right questions, and to approach remarriage with wisdom, you give yourself the best chance at finding not just love, but a relationship that truly supports your well-being. Before we begin, if you believe in navigating life's later years with wisdom and grace, subscribe to Graceful Elderly and share this message so that more people can make informed, thoughtful decisions about their relationships. Because this stage of life should be about joy, not regret. Now, let's get started. 1. Financial realities change after 60. One of the biggest surprises people face when remarrying later in life is just how much it can affect their financial situation. Many assume that marriage at this stage is simply about love and companionship, but in reality, it is also a legal and financial contract, one that can impact your retirement savings, social security benefits, pension plans, and even what you leave behind for your children or loved ones. Imagine thinking you found a partner to share your golden years with, only to later realize that your financial security has been altered in ways you never anticipated. This is the reality for many people who don't take the time to examine how remarriage will impact their assets. One major consideration is Social Security benefits. Many people don't realize that if you are receiving benefits based on a former spouse's work record, those benefits may be reduced or even eliminated once you remarry. This can come as a shock, especially if you rely on that income to maintain your lifestyle. Another factor is pension and survivor benefits. Some pension plans have strict rules regarding remarriage, meaning that if you or your partner receives pension payments, those benefits could be affected. It's crucial to review the terms of any pensions carefully before making a decision. Beyond government benefits, there's also the issue of estate planning. Marriage at this stage means that your financial situation is no longer just about you. It now involves another person's assets, debts, and spending habits. Even if you and your new spouse keep separate bank accounts, state laws may impact how assets are divided in the event of a divorce or passing. If you have children or grandchildren, you must also consider how a new marriage affects inheritance. Many people assume they can simply leave their assets to their children as planned, but remarriage often changes legal rights regarding property and wealth distribution. Take Robert, for example, a 72-year-old who remarried after being widowed. He had always assumed that his children would inherit his estate. But after his remarriage, he learned that his new wife had legal claims to his assets, meaning his children could end up receiving less than he originally intended. To prevent confusion, he had to navigate difficult conversations and legal changes to ensure that everyone he cared about was protected. The solution? Plan ahead. If you're considering remarriage, talk to a financial advisor or an estate planner. Make sure you understand how this decision will impact your financial future, your retirement, and any assets you plan to pass down. These conversations may not feel romantic, but they are essential for protecting your future, because the last thing you want is to enter marriage believing it will make life easier, only to realize that it has complicated your financial security in ways you never expected. 2. Family dynamics can get complicated. Marriage at this stage isn't just about two people coming together. It's about blending families, histories, and expectations. And while love can bring two people closer, family relationships can introduce challenges that you may not anticipate. Unlike young couples who are starting fresh, people over 60 often enter a new marriage with adult children, grandchildren, and decades of established family dynamics. These relationships don't always merge smoothly. One of the biggest challenges is how adult children react to a new marriage. Even if they want you to be happy, they may struggle with feelings of loyalty to your previous spouse, concerns about inheritance, or fear that this new relationship will disrupt family traditions. Some may welcome your new partner with open arms, while others may feel resentful, suspicious, or even protective of you. Beyond children, relationships with grandchildren can also shift. If you've spent years being the primary grandparent figure in their lives, introducing a new spouse can feel like a disruption to them. Some may embrace it, while others may need time to adjust. The same goes for your new spouse's family. If they have children or grandchildren of their own, blending traditions and expectations requires patience and understanding. Another major concern is inheritance and financial matters. Many children worry that a new spouse will alter existing wills, change financial plans, or claim a portion of what they assumed was meant for them. And while money may not be the focus of your new relationship, it is often an underlying concern for family members. Take Susan, for example, a 68-year-old who remarried after being single for over a decade. She assumed her children would be happy for her, but instead, she found herself facing difficult conversations about inheritance, family gatherings, and even where she would live. Her children loved her, but they worried about how this new marriage would impact the family's long-established traditions. If you're considering remarriage, take time to talk with your family. Be open about your intentions, listen to their concerns, and set clear expectations about what will and won't change. These conversations may not be easy, but addressing concerns early can prevent misunderstandings and resentment later. Most importantly, assure your family that this decision is about companionship, not about replacing the relationships you already cherish, because when handled with patience, honesty, and reassurance, blending a new marriage into an existing family can be a source of joy, not division. Remarrying after 60 is a deeply personal decision, one that should be made with clarity, care, and the wisdom that only comes with age. And as we continue, we'll explore more truths that will help ensure your next marriage is one that truly brings you the happiness, stability, and peace you deserve. Marriage after 60 is not the same as marriage in your younger years. When you were younger, marriage was often about building a future together, raising children, buying a home, growing careers. But at this stage of life, it's no longer about creating a new life from scratch. It's about companionship, emotional support, and maintaining independence while sharing life with someone special. This shift in priorities is something many people overlook when they decide to remarry. They assume that love alone will be enough to carry them forward, but the truth is that remarriage at this stage comes with different emotional expectations, different boundaries, and a different way of blending to lives together without considering these differences. Many couples find themselves facing unexpected conflicts, not because they don't care for each other, but because they haven't taken the time to understand what marriage truly means after 60.1. The balance between independence and partnership be the time you reach your 60s or 70 seconds. You've built a lifestyle that works for you. You have your own home, personal habits, routines, and hobbies that bring you comfort. Remarrying means introducing someone else's routines, preferences, and expectations into your life. And that's not always easy. Some people assume that. Remarriage will feel effortless, like falling in love, and blending lives should happen naturally. But in reality, later in life, marriages require careful navigation of personal space, decision-making, and lifestyle habits, unlike younger couples who may depend on each other financially or emotionally. Older couples are often emotionally self-sufficient. They aren't looking for someone to complete them, they want someone to complement their life without taking away their independence. For some, this means sharing everything, living together, merging finances, and spending every day side by side. For others, it means keeping separate homes, separate routines, and maintaining personal space while still being committed partners. There is no one-size-fits-all approach. The key is honest conversations about what you truly want from the relationship. Are you looking for a full-time partner, or would you prefer companionship while keeping your independence? Do you want to merge homes, or do you both feel more comfortable maintaining your own spaces? Do you need daily interaction, or are you both content with having personal time and occasional visits? Setting clear expectations early on can prevent misunderstandings and disappointment. The best marriages, especially later in life, are built on mutual respect for each other's personal space and needs. 2. The emotional luggage that comes with experiencing of the biggest differences between getting married in your 20s versus getting married in your 60s is the emotional history you bring with you. By this stage, you and your partner have both lived through decades of experiences, relationships, and personal growth. If you were previously married, those experiences, whether good or bad, don't just disappear. They shape the way you communicate, the way you handle conflict, and the way you express love. For some, this means carrying beautiful memories of a previous spouse. For others, it means carrying the scars of a difficult divorce. Either way, these past relationships influence how you approach a new marriage. This can create unexpected challenges. If you lost a spouse, you might find yourself unintentionally comparing your new partner to the one you lost. If you've been divorced, you might have built defensive habits to protect yourself from getting hurt again. If you've been single for years, you might struggle with adjusting to the idea of sharing your space with someone new. All of these feelings are natural, but if they aren't addressed, they can create tension, misunderstandings, and emotional distance in a new marriage. The key is to recognize that your new relationship is not a replacement for the past. It is its own unique connection, one that should be appreciated for what it is, rather than compared to what came before. Take Harold, for example. At 75, he found love again after being widowed for several years. But what he didn't expect was how different this new relationship felt compared to his first marriage. His late wife had been his partner for decades, and their way of functioning as a couple was deeply ingrained in him. Meanwhile, his new wife had been divorced for many years and valued her independence in ways he had never encountered before. At first, this created tension. She felt like he was trying to recreate his first marriage, while he felt like she was keeping too much distance. It took time for them to find their rhythm, to balance closeness with personal space, to communicate without comparing the past, and to fully embrace the unique dynamic of their own relationship. If you're thinking about remarrying, ask yourself, am I emotionally ready to start a new chapter, or am I still holding on to the past? Do I have expectations based on my previous marriage? And if so, are they fair to my new partner? Am I open to learning new ways of loving and connecting, even if they feel different from what I've known before? Embracing a new relationship means making room for something new, not just recreating what was lost. 3. The role of communication. In a later-in-life marriage, you've lived alone for years or have spent decades married to someone who understood your habits. It's easy to assume that your way of doing things is just the way things are. But relationships thrive on communication, not assumptions. Unlike young couples who are still learning about life and relationships together, people remarrying later in life bring strong opinions, established habits, and different ways of handling conflict. If these differences aren't discussed openly, they can turn into resentment, frustration, and emotional distance. Some common sources of tension in later life marriages include how much time you spend together vs. apart, how finances should be managed, how household responsibilities are divided, how family events and holidays will be handled, how to handle health-related decisions and caregiving. The best way to prevent conflict is to communicate before the issues arise, instead of assuming that your partner will adjust to your way of doing things. Have the difficult conversations early on. Ask each other, what does a happy marriage look like for you at this stage in life? What are your non-negotiables in a relationship? How do you handle disagreements, and how can we work through them together? When both partners feel heard, respected, and understood, the relationship can grow in a way that feels natural and fulfilling rather than forced or frustrating. 4. Understanding that love looks different with a Jane or younger years. Love is often built on passion, excitement, and a vision for the future. But after 60, love is built on trust, companionship, and shared experiences. This doesn't mean that romance disappears, but it does mean that love looks and feels different than it did in the past. Instead of big, dramatic gestures, love is found in the small, everyday moments: a comforting presence, a shared cup of coffee, the simple act of being there for each other through life's challenges. Expecting love to look the way it did decades ago can lead to disappointment. But embracing this new phase of love for what it is, steady, supportive, and deeply meaningful, can bring immense joy and peace. Before remarrying, ask yourself, am I ready to embrace a love that is different from what I've known before? Do I understand that companionship and emotional support are just as important as romance? Am I open to a relationship that is built on mutual comfort and care, rather than unrealistic expectations? Because the happiest later in life marriages are not those that try to recapture the past, they are the ones that embrace the beauty of the present. Marriage after 60 is not about starting over, it's about sharing the life you've already built with someone who truly complements you. And when approached with awareness, honesty, and mutual respect, it can be one of the most rewarding experiences of your life. Marriage is not just an emotional commitment, it is also a legal and financial contract. And when you remarry after 60, the legal implications can be far more complex than they were in your younger years. Many people assume that love is enough to make a marriage work, but without understanding the financial and legal consequences, they may find themselves facing unexpected stress, financial loss, or family disputes. A later-in-life marriage comes with unique challenges: estate planning, medical decision-making, social security benefits, and legal rights to assets that should be discussed before saying "I do." Without proper planning, you may unintentionally put your financial stability at risk or create confusion and conflict among your loved ones. Let's explore the key legal and financial factors that you must consider before remarrying. 1. How remarriage affects your estate and inheritance. One of the most overlooked aspects of remarriage is how it affects your estate planning. Many people assume that their assets will automatically go to their children or grandchildren, but remarriage can significantly alter the distribution of your wealth. In most cases, when you remarry, your new spouse gains legal rights to a portion of your assets, even if that was not your original intention. If you pass away without updating your estate plan, your assets may be divided in ways that you never intended, leaving your children with less than you planned. Consider Robert, a 72-year-old widower who remarried without reviewing his estate plan. He assumed his children would inherit everything, just as they would have before his remarriage. But after his passing, his new wife had a legal claim to a significant portion of his estate, leaving his children with far less than he had intended. To prevent such unintended consequences, consider these steps. Update your will to clearly specify how your assets should be distributed. Consider a trust to protect assets for your children while still providing for your spouse. Discuss financial expectations with both your new spouse and your family, ensuring that everyone understands your intentions. Estate planning is not just about money. It is about making sure your wishes are honored and that your loved ones are protected. 2. The impact on Social Security and retirement benefits. Many people do not realize that remarriage can change your Social Security benefits. If you are receiving benefits based on a deceased or divorced spouse's work record, those benefits may end upon remarriage. This can be a major financial shock if you rely on those payments to maintain your lifestyle. Additionally, pension plans and survivor benefits may come with remarriage clauses that either reduce or eliminate benefits once you remarry. Before making any decisions, it is essential to check with the Social Security Administration to see how remarriage will impact your benefits. Review pension and survivor benefits to ensure that your financial stability will not be compromised. Discuss financial arrangements with your new spouse to make sure both of you are prepared for any changes. Making an informed decision now can prevent financial struggles later. 3. Understanding medical decision-making rights. One of the most critical legal considerations in remarriage is medical decision-making authority. In most cases, a spouse is automatically granted priority in making medical decisions if their partner is incapacitated. While this may seem natural, it can create tension and conflict if you have adult children who expect to play a role in your care. Imagine this scenario. Eleanor, 67, remarried after years of being single. She assumed that in a medical emergency, her children would make decisions for her. But legally, her new husband had priority over them. When Eleanor fell seriously ill, disagreements arose between her spouse and her children, creating painful conflicts during an already difficult time. To avoid these situations, consider these steps. Establish an advanced healthcare directive that clearly outlines your medical wishes. Appoint a medical power of attorney to ensure the right person is making decisions on your behalf. Have open conversations with your spouse and children about your healthcare preferences to prevent misunderstandings. Planning for medical decision-making is not about expecting the worst. It is about ensuring peace of mind for yourself and your loved ones. 4. Protecting your assets with a prenuptial agreement. For many, the idea of a prenuptial agreement feels unromantic, but in reality, it is one of the smartest ways to protect your financial future. A prenuptial agreement is not about expecting divorce. It is about ensuring that both partners enter the marriage with clarity and security. It allows you to define how assets and debts will be handled in the event of separation or passing. Protect family inheritances, ensuring that children and grandchildren receive what you originally planned. Clarify financial responsibilities, so there are no misunderstandings about money management within the marriage. Take Frank, for example. At 72, he fell in love and was excited to remarry. But he also had significant assets that he wanted to leave to his children. He and his fiancée had an honest conversation and decided to draft a prenuptial agreement that clearly defined their financial boundaries. Frank felt secure. His children felt reassured. And his new wife understood exactly where they stood financially, preventing potential conflicts later on. A prenuptial agreement is not about distrust, it is about protecting both partners and their families from future misunderstandings. 5. The importance of open conversations about money is one of the most common sources of conflict in later-in-life marriages. Unlike younger couples who build financial stability together, older couples enter a marriage with established assets, spending habits, and financial obligations. If you and your new spouse have different views on spending, saving, or supporting family members, it can lead to tension and resentment. The key is transparency. Discuss your financial expectations openly. Will you combine finances or keep them separate? Clarify financial responsibilities. Who will pay for what, and how will major purchases be handled? Be honest about debts and assets. Are there financial obligations such as loans or support for children that need to be considered? Take Susan and Richard, for example. They married at 65, assuming that money wouldn't be an issue. But soon they realized they had very different approaches to spending. Susan preferred careful budgeting, while Richard was more spontaneous with his finances. This led to frustration and arguments until they finally had an open conversation about their expectations. They agreed on separate accounts for discretionary spending, while maintaining a joint account for household expenses. Once they set clear financial boundaries, their relationship became much stronger. Money doesn't have to be a source of conflict, but it requires honest conversations and clear agreements from the beginning, ensuring financial and legal security. In your marriage, Remarrying After 60 can be a beautiful and fulfilling experience, but it also requires wisdom, planning, and careful thought. Love alone is not enough. Financial security, legal protections, and clear expectations are just as important as emotional connection. Without proper planning, you risk financial loss, legal confusion, and family disputes. By taking the time to plan ahead, ask the right questions, and make informed decisions, you can protect your future, honor your past commitments, and ensure that your next marriage is one built on trust, security, and lasting happiness. Because marriage after 60 isn't just about finding love again, it's about building a life that truly supports your well-being in every way. Love after 60 is not about chasing youthful excitement or proving anything to the world. It is about finding peace, companionship, and a connection that enhances your life without disrupting the balance you've worked so hard to build. Too often, people assume that marriage is the only way to avoid loneliness, that having a partner will automatically bring happiness, or that saying, "I do," again will fix the emotional gaps left by past relationships. But the truth is, happiness at this stage of life is more complex. Before remarrying, it is essential to define what happiness truly means to you now, not what it meant 30 or 40 years ago, because at this stage, happiness is no longer about building, it's about maintaining, enjoying, and protecting the life you have already created. 1. Happiness at this age comes in many forms. When you were younger, marriage was about building a future together, raising children, buying a home, creating financial stability. But after 60, you are not building anymore, you are living. This changes the meaning of happiness in a marriage. For some, happiness means sharing a home and spending every day with a partner. For others, happiness means maintaining independence while enjoying companionship. And for many, happiness means choosing not to remarry at all, but instead forming deep, meaningful relationships in other ways. One of the biggest mistakes people make when remarrying after 60 is assuming that marriage will automatically solve loneliness. While companionship is a beautiful thing, personal fulfillment must come from within. If you are not content on your own, a marriage will not suddenly bring joy. It will only add new challenges. Take Margaret, for example. At 70, she felt lonely. After her husband passed away, so she rushed into marriage with a long-time friend. She believed that marriage would fill the emotional void in her life. But soon, she realized that while she cared for her new husband, the marriage didn't bring her the happiness she expected. She missed her independence. She didn't enjoy the compromises of living with someone again, and she felt trapped in a decision she had made too quickly. Margaret's story is not uncommon. The key to true happiness is understanding what you actually want from a relationship before making the commitment. Ask yourself, am I looking for marriage, or would companionship without legal ties be a better fit? Do I want to share a home, or would separate living arrangements make me happier? Am I seeking love, or am I seeking distraction from loneliness? Would this marriage add to my happiness, or would it disrupt the peace I already have? Happiness in later years is about choosing what works best for you, not what society expects of you. 2. Lifestyle compatibility matters more than romance in younger years. Relationships are often driven by romance, passion, and shared dreams of the future. But after 60, what truly matters is compatibility in lifestyle, habits, and personal values. At this age, you are already set in your ways. You have a rhythm to your daily life, routines that bring you comfort, and hobbies that bring you joy. If your new spouse has a completely different way of living, it can create unexpected tension and frustration. Think about these areas of lifestyle compatibility. Social preferences. Do you enjoy quiet evenings at home, while your partner prefers social gatherings? Daily routines. Do you wake up early, while your partner is a night owl? Travel preferences. Do you love traveling, while your partner prefers staying close to home? Home life. Are you neat and organized, while your partner is more relaxed about cleanliness? These differences may seem small at first, but over time, they can lead to stress, resentment, and unhappiness. The happiest second marriages happen when both partners are aligned in their daily habits and expectations. Before remarrying, have honest conversations about your lifestyle. Don't assume that love will make things work, because at this stage, peace and comfort matter just as much as love. 3. Maintaining personal independence within a marriage. One of the greatest challenges of remarrying after 60 is learning how to stay independent while being part of a partnership. Unlike young couples who are just starting out, older couples come into marriage with established routines, financial independence, and personal freedom. If a marriage feels too restrictive, it can lead to regret and frustration. This is why many older couples are choosing alternative relationship structures that work better for their lifestyle. Some choose to live apart while staying committed, maintaining separate homes, but enjoying companionship. Keep finances completely separate, avoiding legal entanglements. Spend time together without marrying, choosing partnership. Without legal commitment, there is no right or wrong way to have a relationship, only the way that brings you the most happiness and peace. Take Harold and Linda. Both had been married before, and both valued their independence. Instead of moving in together, they chose to live separately, but spend weekends and holidays together. This allowed them to enjoy the companionship of marriage without the challenges of merging households. The relationship worked because it was built on mutual understanding and respect, not on outdated expectations of what marriage should look like. 4. Love after 60 is about comfort, not obligation. In younger years, people often get married because they feel like it's the next step in life. But after 60, marriage should never feel like an obligation. It should feel like a choice that brings comfort, joy, and peace. Some people remarry because they feel pressure from family, society, or even themselves. They think they should get married again because it's what's expected. But at this stage in life, the only expectation that matters is your own. Before remarrying, ask yourself, am I marrying because I truly want to, or because I feel like I should? Does this relationship bring me peace, or does it feel like a burden? Can I be fully myself in this marriage without sacrificing what makes me happy? Marriage at this stage should never feel like a responsibility. It should feel like a source of joy. 5. The key to happiness. A relationship that fits your life. The happiest later in life marriages are not the ones that follow traditional rules. They are the ones that are built on honesty, understanding, and personal choice. Some people find deep fulfillment in remarrying and building a life with a new partner. Some people find happiness in companionship without marriage. Some people discover that they are happiest maintaining their independence. All of these choices are valid. The most important thing is that whatever path you choose, it aligns with your values, lifestyle, and personal happiness. Marriage after 60 is not about following what others expect. It's about choosing what brings you peace, comfort, and fulfillment. Remarrying after 60 is a deeply personal decision, one that should be made with wisdom, clarity, and self-awareness. It's not just about love, it's about compatibility, financial security, emotional well-being, and long-term happiness. Take your time. Have the difficult conversations. Be honest about what you want, because at this stage of life, happiness is not about what society says you should do. It's about what truly makes you feel at peace, whether you choose to remarry, maintain companionship without marriage, or enjoy life on your own terms. The most important thing is that your decision brings you joy, stability, and a sense of fulfillment in the years ahead.